2 games in a row, 2 double-digit leads, and 2 complete meltdowns in the fourth quarter. I'm going to say it. Wolves fans, do we have a coaching problem? What's up, everyone? Ryan here. Welcome back to the Sixth Wolf Show, a show for the fans, by a fan, no media spin, no corporate tone, just honest fan feedback, the goods, the bads, and everything in between. This is a safe space. So kind of right now, since I've started the show, it's almost like event line, unfortunately. And last night, what did we see? Another meltdown. Let's get into it. Just a quick overview, kind of my thoughts going into the game. I was a little worried that they got Keegan Murray back. He always hurts us. We did not see him in the first 2 matchups earlier in the season, but they were without Sabonis, which should have been a huge interior advantage for us, which it was. I thought Rudy played great, but without Sabonis, this shouldn't have even been a game. Looking back at the first half, it was just sloppy. In my previous episode, I wanted them to come out with fire, with passion, really just put the game away in the first quarter. They should have had a bad taste in their mouth from the Phoenix game last Friday where they had that meltdown in the last minute when they were up by 8 and lost. Coming into last night's game against the Kings, I thought they would have just blown the door out and there wouldn't even been a game. And again, even though the first half was sloppy on both sides of the ball, the Kings started off 2 for 9 shooting and 4 turnovers early. We just could not take that advantage and run with it. The Kings were literally saying, here, we don't want this game. Take it if you want it. And we just could not really expand that lead beyond 7 or 8, even though they had all those turnovers. And something just felt off. As the first quarter was going on, they didn't have that mentality, that killer mentality, really anything like that, which I'm not sure kind of what that comes down to. Something just felt off. They didn't have that killer mentality, not that aggression. They're kind of coasting, again, a sub 500 team through the game, thinking that they're going to beat them, but we'll talk about the fourth quarter collapse. There were some good moments. I thought Randall taking it to the basket, he started off a little bit slow. I think he wanted Ant to find his game. It took him a little bit to get going, but once he goes with Ant, our team goes. It just took him a little bit to get going. TSJ was back in the game. Didn't make a huge impact. Having him on the floor does help our athleticism. It helps our downhill attack. And again, just that boost off the bench, what we've been lacking. Again, not a huge impact, but glad he's healthy and he's back on the floor. And Naz Reid, he continues to play well. He had a few shots off the side of the backboard, which was interesting. But, that happens. But he did hit some big shots. He had 9 points at the end of the first quarter, 7 straight points leading into the second quarter. And then we had, in the second quarter, we had a nice 13-4 run. Again, at this point in the game, you feel like, all right, we got this. I guess we don't. And just some other bad habits. I know I don't want to be super negative, but just some bad habits as I was watching the game last night. Jaden McDaniels, I know he missed that dunk going up in the second half. And then he just kind of sat there and sulked, like, oh, woe is me. Didn't hustle back on defense. Again, transition defense, they get an easy layup. He didn't even come to the TV screen until they scored a basket. And then I think he followed that up with the next possession with a frustration foul. The Jaden McDaniels frustration fouls when he just picks up a guy at half court and shoves him for no reason because he's mad about something that happened. You got to mature. We're growing with Jaden McDaniels. He's doing that less, but those are the type of things that still worry you just a little bit. And then throughout the second half, we had multiple 2+ minute droughts where we did not score a point on offense. That didn't help us at all. And it was just a brick fest from 3-point land. At one point, we were 4 for 14 on threes, but yet we continue to shoot these threes. Ant finally got it going and started taking it to the hoop. I think that probably was a message in halftime. Again, even though this sounds negative, the Wolves were up 8 going into the half, but it felt like we should have been up by like 18. All right, let's talk third quarter now. Ant went off. He went off. He went nuclear, but some of the warning signs did return. Ant was in total attack mode, waiting for the defense to make a mistake, taking it to the hole, getting layups, getting and ones, had a huge breakaway dunk where he just rose above everybody and threw it down. That was sweet. And he started to get nicked up a bit. He had an ankle issue. He came down awkwardly on his back, so he was holding his back. So he got beat up a little bit this game. But to start the fourth quarter, they actually had a good third quarter. But to start the fourth quarter, we had back-to-back turnovers. We were not boxing out our guys after a shot. And that's kind of been an issue with Anthony Edwards. And I know Chris Finch has brought it up as well, that he's just not boxing out his man. He's sitting there watching the ball. Guys go behind him and get a rebound, whether it's an offensive or defensive rebound. You got to get a body on somebody. You're our best player. And then we had more inbound issues. What is so hard about an inbound pass. And this is where I started to fear we were going to have another situation like the Phoenix game last Friday. And then as we got into the fourth quarter, we started off well. We started off 4 for 4 from the field. But again, awful transition defense. This has been a key point all season long. They're not getting back, or if they do get back, they're not communicating with each other. A few mishaps where Keegan Murray is wide open for a 3. Thankfully, he missed them. But if we do get back, we're not communicating who's got who, or we're not getting back at all, and we're just flying around with no organization. And as much as I love seeing Ant take the ball to the hoop, there was just way too much, I guess, Ant ball, we'll call it. The other guys are just standing around waiting for Anthony Edwards to do something. And sometimes, I guess in the key moments, he did force it quite a bit. As this was happening, the Kings go on a 9-0 run. And at this time, now we're starting to look confused, panicked, disorganized. And we end up taking this game into overtime when there should not have been an overtime in this game. This game should have been over in the first quarter. And going into the fourth quarter, we missed 12 out of our last 13 shots. There's no offensive flow or rhythm. There's no structure. There's no set. There's no tone, no pace. Rudy had 2 outlet turnovers where I know that you can't really blame on the coaches. He gets the ball, he turns it on, he throws it. You just got to pay more attention. But you can't do that. He's a veteran in this league. Take a 2 seconds, scout the floor, make the proper pass. We teach this in elementary school. And we had 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter, including OT. And our bench got outscored, 40-18? Our bench has been an issue this year. I miss Nah. Bring Nah back. And then to end it, they steal our inbound pass again. How is inbounding the ball this hard? Ant finished with 41, but again, hero ball, killed it, and dumb turnovers late in the game. So the big question, Wolves fans, I don't even know if this is a hot take. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Do we have a coaching issue? I know we got great, intelligent coaches on the staff, but when you're watching it on TV, either he's not calling a timeout, now I'm talking about Chris Finch here, not calling a timeout, not doing the proper subs, or he just lets his players try to play through it. I get that, but at some point in time, you need to stop the game, regroup, have a strategic plan, which at a lot of times I don't think Chris Finch does. It's been back-to-back games where our team has just looked dumb, panicked, confused, very low IQ, and disconnected in close games. We can't inbound, we can't break the full court pressure, we can't run a set or get organized in crunch time. This isn't talent, this isn't injuries, because we really don't have any significant injuries. It just comes down to execution. And execution equals coaching. I know the players have to actually execute the plays, but if they don't have anything to execute, that comes down to coaching. So here are some of my final closing takeaways, Wolves fans. We lost another game, this time to a sub-500 team, which we've been doing well against all year long. And on Wednesday, we're on the road in OKC, probably the best team ball we've been seeing for a long time. And we're also on ESPN. Let's pray we don't embarrass ourselves. But at the same time, they could also see the Wolves coming out, not looking like the team they've been this past week, and beating OKC. Putting my Wolves fan hat on for that one. But honestly, I don't know how many times we have to say lesson learned before we face the truth. Something is going on in the last 2 minutes of these ball games, and I still can't pinpoint it if it's just the mentality, the mindset of our players, but we have veterans on our team. We have Rudy Gobert. We have Julius Randle, who's been in these situations before. Dante DiVincenzo. Anthony Edwards, I know he's still young and still getting used to some of these situations. However, I think it does come down to coaching, and they need to clean that up. All right, Wolf fans, subscribe, hit that like button. I appreciate you taking the time, and we will see you Wednesday night. Go Wolves!